As my film is a teen drama, I needed to make sure that its title instantly conveys this genre. I decided to name my film The Unexpected Life of Charlie Matthews. The title is the first signifier of what the film may be about, so it's important for me to create a sense of intrigue into what they will expect from its content. I think that my title has more of its own enigma codes. For instance, the audience may be wondering, who is Charlie Matthews and why is he significant, and what happens that will make his life unexpected? I chose to use the same font for all the titles and opening credits in my opening sequence, as I wanted to keep this sense of continuity throughout. The only time I didn't use the same font for a piece of text was the 4 years earlier caption during the flashback sequence. This is because I felt like it was less a part of the film than the other pieces of text were, so I wanted to show that this was slightly detached. I did not choose the most popular font from the questionnaire responses in the end, but a similar one because I felt it looked too informal and juvenile. My film is a teenage drama, so I don't want it to look too sophisticated or too childish. Instead, I chose one, also from dafont.com, which I felt is a mixture of both. Its colour is white, connoting Charlie's innocence and honest personality. Other films which have used this colour font include Titanic and Short Term 12, perhaps to connote similar themes of innocence or purity. I have not used any iconography within my title because I did not want to risk it looking tacky or immature. I also didn't think it would have worked with my film, as there is no poignant object in the film which serves as a piece of iconography. I have also found this to be the case with other films which do not have any particular icons on their titles or film posters which people could relate them to. However, Pride uses the megaphone as iconography to relate to the purpose the film has of speaking out. My film is set in a detached rural home. From looking at other drama films, many are not set in the countryside, which develops conventions by testing audience expectations. The effect of this was to make Charlie look more isolated, as it is a detached house on the edge of a small village. I think this worked in creating this effect, as it ensured that him and Erica were the only people in the location at one time. This may also assist in creating more enigma codes amongst viewers, such as enforcing the idea of why Erica is back there again after she left years ago. One disadvantage to setting my film in a rural area may be that the storyline may not be very relatable to those living in the city, which may restrict audience numbers. If the opening sequence had been extended slightly, we would see that Charlie works in more of a built-up town. This could extend my target audience to those living in the city as well as in a rural setting. However, as we currently only see Charlie in the countryside, the target audience is more limited to those living in rural areas. I have used natural lighting throughout my sequence with no added artificial light or deliberately filmed at night to make the atmosphere darker. This helps to convey the idea that nothing about Charlie is fake or dishonest. Into the Wild's opening sequence used similar lighting to communicate the same natural tone. I did, however, challenge conventions by applying a sepia colour filter to flashback shots during the editing stage of production to help distinguish between the different time periods. This filter is slightly brown in colour and looks like a faded picture, which gives clear implications of the past. My use of props and costume throughout the opening sequence is realistic, as all the props I use are common household objects. For example, one of the props I used was a mobile phone. Other props included an umbrella and a laptop case. My actors brought their own possessions to use as props, which shows that they are of similar financial status and age as the roles they played. They're also in the same age bracket as my target audience, so hopefully we'll be able to relate to the characters in my film. This links to the conventions of drama films, as they are usually set in the very similar lifestyles of ordinary people in the present day. Charlie is seen wearing a basic grey hoodie in the flashbacks and a casual shirt and tie in the present day before he travels to work. This shows he has become more successful and is more financially stable now, which could generate enigma codes, such as, how has his life been turned around so drastically? And is this part of his unexpected life as suggested in the title? Erica, on the other hand, I think shows a more dramatic change in appearance, as she goes from wearing predominantly dark-coloured clothing, implying her character is mean-spirited and ultimately a bully, to having a lighter, more casual style in the present day. This could symbolise her change in attitude as well as just her clothing, as she now realises she doesn't want to be the person she was 4 years ago. Costume isn't the only thing that has changed in her older self, as her hair is now tied up and she wears glasses, which stereotypically presents her as an intellectual, perhaps in the sense that she is now accepting that what she did previously to Charlie was wrong. A lot of the inspiration for my film's opening came from The Perks of Being a Wallflower, as it opens with the main character, after opening credits, and has a fairly slow pace, as if it has been derived from the character's slow, tied speech. The pace of my opening sequence is created predominantly through the use of a mix of fast and slow-paced cutting. An example of this is in the short sequence during which Charlie is getting ready for work, when I use a series of fast cutting. The effect of this is to disorientate the audience slightly so they are more confused and to hopefully generate more enigma codes. In The Perks of Being a Wallflower, there is a slow-motion sequence where Charlie, coincidentally the same main character's name as in my film, is walking through the school and is snapped back to reality by the sharp sound of a bell ringing, also bringing the pace of the scene back to normal. This has the effect of surprising the viewer, as I am similarly hoping to achieve. The use of cinematography throughout my opening sequence focuses on me using a variety of different shot types and camera movements to make the film more interesting for the audience. Some of my opening sequence consists of point-of-view shots, which help to put the audience in the character position, aiming to connect them further. These are also used in The Perks of Being a Wallflower, I believe, for a similar purpose. The use of flashbacks embedded between present-day shots helps to create enigma codes, such as, how were these past events linked to those later on in the film? This particular shot implies Charlie is still troubled by the way Erica bullied him in the past. I don't know of any other drama films which make use of this feature, perhaps because they are more focused on reality and present-day events, so I'm therefore challenging this expectation by including flashbacks in my opening sequence. My sequence incorporates a piece of background ambience which is ongoing throughout the whole 2 minutes. There are no particular points where the music reaches a crescendo, which I think makes for a good atmosphere, however lacks any dramatic tension to go with the visuals. The music is used to provide more of an accompaniment to the visuals than to complement it. However, this was not my original aim. I initially wanted the ambience to suit the film and graphics, but could not find a piece of music that fit well, and I lacked the capability to make it myself. Submarine is slightly different to this, as it starts off without ambience and just incorporates sound effects. However, background music begins after the protagonist introduces the film, also suiting the theme and mood the visuals portray. My sequence starts off with the sound effect of an alarm clock and a black screen, temporarily serving to disorientate and confuse the viewer as they cannot yet see what is happening.